What's going on, guys? It's Brent0331. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is my coverage of the 2026 Moons Out shooting match held at the Echo Valley Training Center in West Virginia. The Moons Out match is probably the largest night vision match held in the entire world. It's a really great experience, and I'm very fortunate to have been invited to participate. Essentially, the match is held over 2 nights. There were 3 different divisions that you could participate in. The active, meaning you're using something like a PEC laser to engage your targets. Passive, meaning you're engaging your targets looking through your optic with your MVGs, or thermal, which is self-explanatory. I chose to participate in the active division, primarily engaging targets with the PEC 15 mounted on my rifle. For this match, you'd be put into different squads. I was put in the social media squad. As you guys can see in this picture, there's a lot of recognizable faces. So without further ado, let's get started. This match was actually conducted over 2 nights. The conditions were, let's say, less than optimal. Despite the name of the match, there was little to no moon. It rained frequently, and heavy fog was present on some of the stages of fire. But that all just added to the experience of the match. It truly was an incredible experience, and it really put your gear to the test.
Course of fire.
Yep.
Shooter, are you ready?
Yep.
Stand high. Kill.
All right, so this was the first stage of fire that we did, and it starts with you sitting in the back of a Humvee. Once the Humvee gets going, eventually you'll start seeing silhouette steel targets. And the rule was that you can engage the targets as much as you want and you score as many points as you want. But the thing was, if there was more than one target, you had to alternate between them. So if you saw one target, you can just sit there and hammer it and rack up the points. But if there was more than one target, i.e. 2, you'd have to alternate between 1 and 2. So you hit 1, you go to 2, and then back to 1. And that's the order of engagement that you had to do in order to score points on that stage of fire.
Great stuff, shooter. Search for targets, search for targets. You're at 16 hits so far. Eyes open, eyes open. Targets left! Turns before we get to our last target array. It does get a little sporty, so brace yourself as best you can. Alright, here's that first turn. Yeah, right? Charlie's in the open against that berm. Nice. Hell yeah.
Once we got to the end, you get handed what's called a hand cannon. It launches some sort of projectile, I think a tennis ball, I'm not 100% sure, but the thing had no sights on it whatsoever. I have no experience with them, but you know, they hand it to you, and then you had to hit a target. I had no idea where the hell the target was. I just knew the general vicinity it was, but I could not see it with the fog. So I pretty much just launched it in the general direction. Obviously, I didn't hit it.
Ah, damn.
That concluded the first stage of fire. Good experience.
Sorry. Load and make ready.
All right, so this was the second stage of fire we did, and I think they called this Mogadishu, but essentially you just run down this road, and you have bays off to your right, and there's targets in the bays, I believe 2 targets each, and you had to engage them on the move. You could not stop. So as long as you were having some sort of forward momentum, you were good to go. So you engage those 2 targets, and then you move to the next bay. The thing that you guys got to remember about this, like, you do not see the courses of fire before you actually run them. So me participating and going through this course of fire is the first time I'm actually seeing the layout of the range, which will trip me up here in a minute because, you know, I go through the first 2 bays and then I get to the 3rd one and I'm thinking there's a target on my right-hand side, but it's actually to my left. So you guys see the range officer there. He kind of reorients me, and next you come up to this board, which you know, is similar to a VTAC. I've never seen one before. But essentially you had to take a shot through each one of the little ports. So obviously this kind of threw me for a loop because I've never seen a setup like this before. So I had to, you know, kind of figure it out on the move, and you know, here we go. searching for targets and engaging them from each window.
All right, here. All right, up here. The two small ports on this top. Here, the small ones. Yep. These. Left. And for right. Left. One over the top. Unload for a high value. Missed high value, grab the cannon to your left. Directly
So once you fire your last shot, then you have to pick up the hand cannon and fire that thing. Again, there's no sights on it, so it's kind of just winging it. Then you run over and grab a dummy. You had to drag him. It's a pretty heavy dummy. It's not a light dummy at all, so it does take some effort. So once you drag the dummy to the back to the barricade, then you reload, and then you have to go through the sequence again. But now that I have some experience shooting through this thing, I was a little bit more orderly in which windows I engaged. So as you guys can see, I'm kind of taking a more organized approach this time as opposed to when I first encountered it.
Bottom triangle. Over the top or from the side. Taking magazine out? Nope. Hit! Alright, you may unload and show clear. I'm ready.
So this next stage of fire is really fun. You start off in a car. There's a staged rifle that's not yours. It doesn't have any night vision capabilities. You're not even wearing your MVGs at this point. But the rifle has a white light on it. So the first part of this stage of fire is going to be with white light, which is cool because then I could end up using my helmet cam for some of this anyways. After you engage those targets, you'd move your way into the shoot house, which you've never seen before. It's the first time seeing the shoot house, so complete surprise on where targets are and anything else.
Look left. Go right. Go right. There you go. Safety on. Turn right. And let's go. Go left. Straight ahead. Left. Go forward. Keep going. Safety on. Muzzle down. Put it in the dump bucket. Keep going. Go left. Now right.
Once you come out of the shoot house, you'll find a barrel. You stick your staged weapon in there, and then you can pick up your personal gear, which is already pre-staged. Now I can put on my chest rig, I can mount my MVGs, and use my own rifle. So I have some issues with my MVGs once I mount them up, and this is kind of a foreshadowing of things to come. With all the rain and moisture, I detected that there was an issue with the MVGs. I'm glad I got to experience this because now I can address this problem. But you guys can see my MVGs were having some difficulty turning on.
All right.
So that kind of, again, foreshadows a future problem that you guys will see here in a little while. Once you get your gear on, you run around the corner, and now you're going to engage all those original targets under MVG.
All the way to the corner. Insert a magazine, charged up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unload, show clear. Nicely done. All right, it's clear. Point down range, pull the trigger.
All right, guys, this is by far my worst stage of fire. This was the trench. Now, this would have been a very fun stage had it not been for just catastrophic equipment failure. So, like I said, with the foreshadowing of my NVGs, with the rain and the moisture and everything, I think there's an issue between the NVG and the J-arm. So, going into this event, as soon as I jumped into the trench, my NVGs turned off on me. And at that point, it's completely dark. You cannot see anything. So essentially, I have no means of engaging any targets until I can get these NVGs up and running. So I wasted significant amount of time trying to get these things up and running. In the past, if I've ever had my NVGs shut off, these particular 14s, I've been able to get them back on by flicking them up and then flicking them back down, and turning off and turning on. But that just was not working in this case, at least initially. So you guys can see the amount of time I'm wasting here. And now that I got them back on, I'm moving. I'm trying to engage these targets. You got to essentially run to each window, and there's targets in there, engage the targets, and then move to the next window in the trench. But at this point, I am so far behind because of the equipment failure that I'm trying to rush through this as fast as possible to make up time.
Left. There. Muzzle down, move. Left. The easy target is to your far right. There. Muzzle down, move. Around the bend. Left into the court. Pretty much straight down here for the obvious one. Oh, right there. Muzzle down, move.
If you guys can't tell, the whole trench is covered in muddy water. It's super dark. It's hard to see. But in an effort to try to make it through this and not get parred out, I'm just
you
booking
put your
it.
rifle on top of the wall. To your left, you will see the mortar. The grenade is... No, left. You will see the throwing grenade on top of the mortar. Pull the pin out of the grenade.
With this thing, you had to drop the mortar round into the tube. After that, you pick up a weapon with a thermal on it. You're supposed to engage the targets, but
out in front. Nope, that was it. Nope, that's your rifle. That one. You'll see 2 dots somewhere.
as soon as I looked through there, I could not see it instantly. I was already behind on time, and yeah. It was costing me too much time to try to sit there and try to find the target, so just opted to go with a miss on that one so I can move on.
Safety on, muzzle down, continue down
And there you guys can see my NVGs actually cut off on me again.
Give me a second, my NVGs are acting up. Come on, you fucking cocksucker.
Got it? Okay, muzzle down, go to the far end of the trench. You will then turn yourself 90 degrees left, Ivan, just outside the trench. 5 seconds on. Go.
So once you reach the end of the trench, you got to make your way back, engage targets through the windows again, ultimately trying to make it to a belt fed at the end of the trench. Unfortunately, with my setbacks with the equipment, it's cost me too much time. I'm going to end up parring out here. So, which sucks, guys. If you par out at any stage of fire, you're pretty much it's pretty much a deal killer in terms of you trying to make a decent ranking in the whole competition. So, there was a option for a mulligan, which means you get to reshoot the stage if you have a catastrophic failure or something along these lines. However, I did not know about that at the time that this happened, and it wasn't offered, so I didn't know about it until after the fact. And the ROs, or actually some of the other guys in my squad, told me that I should have taken a mulligan on it. So I would take that advice and would go forward. But unfortunately, that stage of fire, I get parred out for it. All right, guys, this next stage of fire was an absolute gut check. So you start in a fighting position, you engage a target, and then you crawl out, grab your rifle, and you got to run to the next one. There's 3 separate fighting positions. So you start with number 1, you move to number 2, get in it, engage the target, get out, move to number 3, get in it, engage the target, get out, and then once you engage the target on number 3, you have to run all the way back to number 1. And the idea is to get to as many fighting positions as possible and engage a target at each one. And you got a point for every one you successfully got into and then engage the target. So again, absolute nut check. It's part of the reason why I like these brutality style matches. It has a good combination of shooting ability and physical ability mixed into it.
On the tripod back. Right here. Move. Push. You definitely have time for 7. Further up.
When I went to NRAM, the Interstate 1 lower is actually not bad. The one that goes through like Louisville and stuff. Yeah. This one is.
Move! You have time. 25 seconds. You can do it. You got it. Get one more. Got it, Brett. Hurry up and get in. 15 seconds. 10. You're in. Get your shot. Hurry up. 5. To the right.
All right, this next stage of fire, you'd start off sitting on the log. As soon as the timer went off, you'd run down. You'd see some targets on your right-hand side. You engage those in the woods. Once you engage those targets, you'd move on to an open area with some more targets.
Down to the right. There you go. Good. At 11 o'clock, there's a stretcher about 40 meters. 4 targets.
Once those targets were engaged, you had to take the casualty that was on a stretcher and drag him back to the starting position. And again, that is not a light casualty. That dummy's pretty heavy. So here I got tripped up. It was very muddy, guys. Again, it had been raining significantly throughout the match. So it's just caked in mud. Again, that's what makes this match so great, is because it combines your ability to shoot with your ability to be physically fit. So it's a great, you know, testing tool, really. Once you get back, you get a hand cannon.
Good.
And then there was 2 BMP cutout targets downrange, and you had to pick one of them and engage. The further one was more points, the closer one was less points. However, the closer one was obviously easier to engage. All right, for this course of fire, you started off at a vehicle. You're surrounded by targets.
Are you ready?
So you engage all those targets.
Magazine, retain it, fire a high value shot into one of the targets. Let's get your gear, let's go.
Once you get done engaging those targets, you would make your way to the back of the vehicle, and then you had to
reload,
put on your gear.
re-engage.
Once your gear was on, you'd go back to engaging the targets, and then once you fired at the and hit the last target, then the course fire was over.
Reload, re-engage. If finished, unload and show clear.
Good use of cover. Yeah, man.
Excellent use of cover.
Mad props for fully donning your gear, too.
Right. I see a clear chamber, bolt forward, and dry fire into the berm. Thank you very much.
Brent, hold your can still for a sec.
Downrange! 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 Shooter, are you ready?
All right, so this next course of fire, you start off and you're wearing a rucksack that essentially has an 80-pound sandbag attached to it. You had to make your way through some tripwires, which it's very muddy, so you know it kind of adds to the difficulty of this. But made my way through the tripwires, then you run around, go to the next bay over. Once you get into the next bay, you're allowed to go condition 1. Then essentially you go to the first center piece of cover, and you would engage 2 targets. And at the completion of engaging 2 targets, you would be instructed on which barricade or piece of cover to go to next. And one thing I want to give you guys a heads up, if you're more of a tactile shooter like myself and don't do competition shooting very often, they have this thing called the 180 rule, meaning your rifle has to be pointed downrange at all times. So if you're a tactically oriented shooter like myself, you know, we move about the battle space, you know, as long as our weapon is pointed down, it's considered a safe manner and way of carrying a weapon. But, you know, that can trip you up in a competition because you have to have the barrel pointed downrange, and they have what's called the 180 rule. So if it violates that 180 rule, they're going to give you a warning, and then if you do it again, they're going to disqualify you. So, you know, guys like myself that are tactical shooters, this can trip you up. You got to be careful with that and be cognizant of it.
Metal stand to your right, immediate right. Metal stand. Hit. Hit. Finished. Unload and show clear. All right, you're ready. Stand by.
All right, this next drill is an absolute ass kicker, just like the Foxholes. So you essentially throw this kettlebell, you run to it, take a knee, and then you engage the target. Once you engage the target, then you got to take the kettlebell, throw it again. And the idea is you're trying to get it past these boards on the ground, and then moves. You get points for every time you pass the boards. So it seems like a very simple task, but it gets very difficult as you progress in the stage of fire.
All right, good toss, good roll. Hit! Just pass that chem light. There you go. Hit! Back the other way.
Awesome, good roll.
Yeah.
Roll high. Hit. All right, good job.
You want to go for a low? Good job, Dan.
Hit.
Wait, would you get 14? 12. You both got 12? I got 12.
I thought you got 13.
No, he gave me 12. Oh, okay. Even though I was at the 14 or 13. So it's 3, 6.
There you go.
Wait, it's 5? 10. No, it's 3 each way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Back this way.
Sorry.
13 would bet you got past this first one.
Maybe 1.
Maybe he didn't focus on it.
Maybe.
Where'd you end up? Where'd you start? Where'd you end up? I started there and I ended up.
Hit.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
You
14.
hadn't got the hit past this last marker here. Because you were just shy of it on the show before and you didn't get the hit.
So you got 13.
Yeah, 13.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense because without
Hit.
fucking hell of a slip on my hand twice.
Good toss, good toss.
I was like trying to shoulder check it, but like the boom was like fucking shooting. I'm like, I can't shoot. And I was like, just put it in the hip.
Alright, thank God.
Hit. All right, good toss.
Just over.
Yeah, it's over. Hit. Back the other way. All right, good toss. Hit. Good toss. Hit. In 20 seconds. You one more toss because we're locked in.
Get in there, Brent.
Push, push, push. Your right, bring it left, bring it left. Hit. And par.
When I hit the start signal, you're gonna.
All right, the last stage of fire for us in this match was a shoot house. So it was actually several GP tents connected, and there'd be individual rooms set up, but all the shooting would be going in one direction on the left-hand side. But you're supposed to pull the pin, kick open the door, and then toss this grenade inside, and then once it goes off,
Are you ready? I clear.
then you go to town.
I mean, I can go condition 1 once I kick the door. Exactly.
All of liquid cool.
Yeah, stand by. You might need to twist it.
As you can imagine, it's super dark inside the room, and then the ground is just absolutely a mud fest. So you can't really move through this space with any type of speed and intensity because it absolutely was just covered in mud inside.
Is that a target or a hostage? Over the wall on the ground to your left.
So here I remember running into an issue with the reloading a magazine. For whatever reason, it was catching up on something. I couldn't get it to properly seat inside the mag well, so it was costing me too much time, so I just discarded it and went to the next one. Once you got through the actual house itself, then you got outside, you gauged some targets, and then that was it. That was the culmination of that stage of fire.
All right, unload, show clear.
Well, that's it, guys. That completes my coverage of the 2026 Moons Out. It was an awesome event. I highly encourage you guys to take part in it next year if you can. It was a great opportunity to test gear and equipment, and definitely had some experiences there, especially with the weather. Really tested some of my equipment and showed me deficiencies in some of it that I need to address. So again, great experience. Had a fantastic time, guys. I highly look forward to doing it again in the future. It was an awesome opportunity. So if you can, keep your eyes out and try to jump on next year. Hope to see you out there in the future. Thanks for watching.